Hello students. In this video, I'm going to show you how to complete a comparison problem. And I want you to pay close attention how I set up my model. Setting up your model, labeling your model, and putting the numbers in your model correctly are what you have to do to be successful today. Your success criteria is not just to solve the problem, but it's to make sure you set your model up and you use that model to write your equation. Once the model's built, you can visualize the solution, and it also makes it really clear whether your answer is reasonable. Shelley washes 14 cars. Amir washes 9 cars. How many more cars does Shelley wash than Amir? Notice I read my problem from beginning to end. I now am going to go through and I'm going to read the question. How many more cars does Shelley wash than Amir? I see in that question, it's asking me how many more than. When language like more and more than, less than, fewer than, taller than, any of those words that are comparing words, they're comparing two things or two people, I know I need a comparison model, a comparison bars. In this case, I know that I'm comparing, and I know I'm comparing Shelley and Amir. So I'm going to write them right here. I'm going to write them down because I'm comparing them. And I'm going to build my model out here, but I have to write their names. Next thing I'm going to do is ask myself, who has more or who has less? Well, I know that Shelley has more and Amir has less because this problem tells me how much Shelley has and tells me how much Amir has. That means I know the numbers that go in my rectangles. So I know Shelley's going to get the big bar, Amir's going to get the small bar, and this question is asking me for the more than or less than. And the more than or less than always goes in the oval. The oval is the difference between one person's total and another person's total. Now, when I say total, I want you to remember this is not the total. Amir has a part of what Shelley has. You can see his bar is shorter than her bar, so he doesn't have as much as she has. All right, so the first thing I need to do is I need to plug my numbers into this equation. I already know where my unknown value is because the question asked me, how many more cars does Shelley have than Amir? It didn't ask me how much Shelley has, and it didn't ask me how much Amir has because they told me that information. Some problems do. Some problems give you the more than or less than. And you have to figure out one of these rectangles, one of the people, or one of the things. In this case, I'm going to put my 14 right here and my 9 right here. Now my model is set up. Once I have this model set up, I can see very quickly that Shelley has the total. Amir's got a part of that total. And I know that if Amir got some more, he would have have as many as or washed as many as cars as Shelley. I also know that Shelley washed a certain amount of cars more than Amir. So I need to figure that out by doing one of two things. I can count on. I can say 9 plus this other part gives me the total. This part plus this part, and these are parts because they're part of this total. They're inside of this total. I can find 9 inside of 14. And I can find whatever this number inside of 14 is, but I don't know what that number is. And when I add these two numbers up, they will equal 14. That's why this bar ends right with that oval. So I can count on, or I know my facts in my head, and I know the number is 5. So Shelley washes 5 more cars than Amir. Now, because I was missing a part, I could have subtracted. I could have said 14 minus the total minus the part I know, 14 minus 9 equals 5. So any way you'd like to do it, but you need to find out the oval or the more than or less than. And also notice that I can either write a label, 5 more cars, or I can write a full sentence. Now it's your turn. Go complete your problems. Make sure that you write your model and make sure you label your model and put the numbers in. Then write your equation and make sure you either have a complete sentence with the answer in it or you have the answer and a label. So make sure that you read the question to see what the label is. How many more cars does Shelly have than Amir? What's it asking me? Cars. And we're talking about how many more cars, not apples, not gumballs. One more step before we go. And I almost forgot this step, and it's the most important step. I need to put my number back in back into the word problem and see if it makes sense. Shelly washes 14 cars. Amir washes 9 cars. How many more cars does Shelly wash than Amir? So I'm just going to put this answer in there and see if it makes sense. Shelly washes 5 more cars than Amir. Does that make sense? Sure, it's okay. I know that she washed some more cars than Amir. I know that 5 is a reasonable number because it's somewhere in between. If I jump from 9 to 14, it's 5. What I know that would not be reasonable is if I saw this word more and I added 14 and 9, because that would give me 23. And it's not possible for this circle to have 23 in it. Look at this bar. This circle, this oval, this is not a circle, this oval is smaller than this total. So if I put 23 in here, that doesn't look right. It also doesn't make sense that Shelly could wash 23 more cars than Amir. She only washed 14. The problem told me that. So make sure that you build your model, write your equation, write your label, and then check your answer when you're done by putting it back in the equation and seeing if it makes sense. Have fun with your math problems.